Hi folks, it's Switchback. I'm in the process of packing for a backpacking trip. Today's Friday, I'll be leaving on Monday, and so I'm trying to be proactive about what foods I might need to prepare before my trip. All of my meals that I'm planning are all to be rehydrated, and so that makes a difference in what I plan to take as far as cookware goes. If I was planning on making anything from scratch, I would want to take my aluminum pot. Because I will only be rehydrating, I'm going to take my titanium pot, which my coffee mug nests into really nicely. So this one has handle on a lid, put that on the stove, boil it up like so. And it also has an insulating sleeve, which is kind of nice if I decide that I want to pour my food into the pot. So I mentioned my coffee cup. And one of the things I really like about this is on the inside of it, it has measurements. So when I say, let's say that something needs 5 ounces of water or 16 ounces of water to rehydrate, I can measure it with this and then pour it into my pot and go from there. The pot also has some measurements, but this is a little bit more precise. I also carry a long spoon because it's much easier in a pack like this to stir than it is with this little bad boy. And that's when my hand gets all in there every time I try to eat or anything like that. I also take a sponge to scrub off anything, usually with my utensils, or if I decide to eat out of my pot, that makes it easier. And then I take a small towel for drying. I like to carry my day's food in a mesh bag. So this just draws like that. It makes it really easy for me to take it in and out. I also have to make sure that I account for how much space is in my bear canister for anything that doesn't get eaten out of this. I'm also going to take a food koozie with me, and I'm still deciding which one I want to take. So I have this nice one that I made out of Reflectix. It actually has Velcro, like so. It's large. It has like a folded up bottom so it can stand up on its own. Not right here, apparently. Works better when there's something in there. Or I may just take some packaging with me from Amazon, courtesy of them. And it works really nicely to do this because I can just stick a meal in there. I fold it over, I carry a binder clip when I'm on the trail and let it sit. Sometimes I prefer to take this on my trip because it weighs a little bit less, it's a little less bulky, and in either case I can use it to sit on. Another thing I have to factor in is how much fuel I'm going to use. I tend to use about 1 ounce per day on my trips. And most of my cans, I don't use a fresh new can with every single trip. And so one thing that I've found that helps is I write the weight of the can and I use a food scale to measure it. And I know how much the can weighs by itself and then how much fuel is in there. So the total weight left in this one right here is 208 grams, which means that there are 58 grams of gas in there. I know I've mentioned it in another video, but I have these nice large canisters that I used, and maybe they're helpful on longer trips, but I've had these cans for about 6 years, and there's still 21 grams of gas left in that one. I will also be taking one of these small ones. I think for this one, I'm gonna take these two to try to use this one up, and then I'll use some of this one here. I'll be gone for 3 nights on this one, about 40 miles or so. So yeah, I expect I'll be heating up most of my meals. I tend to heat up even my lunch a lot of the time. Another important consideration is coffee. So normally I take packets, but this trip I'm going to experiment and I'm going to try taking a bottle of grounds and see if that works out better. So I don't like all the waste that comes with the packets, and it's also more cost efficient to do it this way. So I'm gonna see how it works for me. I might find that this bottle is just too bulky in my bear can, but that's part of the joy of all this. Every trip I find that I experiment some way. I'll also be packing my stove here, and I have a windscreen because I did see that it looks like it may be windy a bit while I'm gone. I tend to make a lot of my own meals, but I do get recipes from Backcountry Foodie, and I'll put that link here below. I paid the subscription for that. It's worth it, every penny. It's already saved me a ton just being able to make my own meals. So for this trip, I'm gonna be taking 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 3 dinners. I also like to take at least 1 extra meal. In this case, I'm taking a Mountain House meal as my spare. I kind of tend to eat whatever sounds good at the time. I read somewhere if you choose whatever is your favorite out of what you have left, you always get to eat your favorite thing. It's kind of a clever way of thinking about it. I also have a smoothie that I might eat, or will drink at some point along the trail. I love to take some condiments. I love me some Cholula sauce. And I also like to take a little salt and pepper shaker. Sometimes I get a little bit bored with water, and so I'm also taking a couple of packets of hot chocolate and some Kool-Aid. Sometimes I'll also take with me the little sticks of Crystal Light. So whatever floats your boat, it's nice to have a little something to mix it up periodically. This is another reason that I like to carry a cup. Another thing I like to take with me are desserts. And so this one I have a couple of different kinds of cheesecake, and I also have, well actually it's also a cheesecake. It's a dark chocolate cheesecake that's from Mountain House that I tried, and I have the other half of it right here. So half of the fun on the trail is all the snacks. I have all kinds of snacks with me, some healthy ones, some less healthy ones, some that are kind of in between, but keeping myself snacking on the trail really helps keep me going, and it helps with my enjoyment of my trip. So as I mentioned, I do take a bear canister. This is one of my bear canisters. This is the Bear Vault 500. And believe it or not, I tend to have a hard time fitting it all in sometimes, but that's why I get the big bear canister. So I don't have my bear canister completely packed yet. I am actually going to put my first day's food in here. And then I'm also gonna put all of my smellables in there. So that's gonna include my toothbrush, my toothpaste. I carry a little bit of camp soap. I use a little bit of sunscreen, lotion, things like that. All of it needs to go in here. I also put my bear canister inside my backpack, and I don't lock it all the way. I close it for the most part, but this has 2 buttons that it clicks past when you close it all the way. Much easier to get in and out of it when it's still in your pack if you don't have it closed all the way. You'll also see that I keep my bear can pretty visible. So I have reflective tape on all sides of it, but it's also easier to spot when I have lots of fun stickers on it. So these are a few of mine. My other bear canister doesn't quite yet have that many, but that's a work in progress. I hope you found this helpful today, and I look forward to this trip, and I'll share it with you when I get back. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.